When I read the debate question here, so I felt it was a slam dunk, and I was like, why are we having this debate now? So, you look back around the history of mankind, people have been there for many, many thousands of years. So yeah, I think, did somebody ping? No? Okay. No interruption right now because I need a good 2 minutes to get these points across. So now, human existence has been there for over 10,000 years. Now you look back and you see, okay, is human potential going to take you from point A to point B? Every generation had this hope. I had my share of hope 25, 30 years ago. So you're welcome to hold another opinion for another 30 years. But I will make it very simple and easy for you guys. More people equals more problems. Doesn't always mean more solutions. So looking back, what is the role of technology? Science helps us to understand things. Technology are tools which you can create for comfort of life and convenience. But can comfort and convenience alone help you to go to point A to point B? Can you use that to define human development? Answer is not. So what do you need to develop? The answer absolutely lies in how you apply technology to unleash the human potential, not just about just use of technology. How do you apply the technology? So I'm just going to go out there and put this across because I know for the fact there will be some points of view that will say, oh, technology has done more harm. So we are going to take this grandstanding position where the application of technology in the right way is what is going to help our country to achieve new heights in the coming years. So I welcome to hear an opposing point of view from my learned opposition. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me today. I think I got conned into this because they said, I told them I'm not a very good person, generalist, but, I can speak on healthcare. And they said, yeah, you can speak on health. So, and then, like a couple of weeks later, I get a message saying it's a debate. So I was like, what debate? You guys didn't tell me about a debate. So, but thank you really for having me here. And I think I've taken up. So how many people here think, what do you think of women in Saudi Arabia? All right, great to hear that. So, and second thing is women, right? Do you think India, more number of women have opportunities to work, and do they work in India or Saudi Arabia? How many people think Saudi Arabia women have more opportunities and go to work or, go into the participation, of the economy than in India? How many people think that? You'd be completely wrong. Yeah, that's what we think, right? Saudi Arabia, women participation is 32%. What do you think it is in India? Anybody fathom a guess? We're 50% of the population, right? So I wanted to make a point about the human potential and where we're really, missing out. 18%, right? Saudi Arabia is 32 and we're 18. Yeah. And all of this didn't even occur to me. I was reading, somebody suggested I read this book. It's called Desperately Seeking Shah Rukh. What do you think the topic will talk about, right? I was like, oh, who's talking about Shah Rukh Khan, sir? And truth is, it has nothing to do about Shah Rukh Khan. It's about women actually saying that I wish my husband spoke to me as softly as Shah Rukh Khan does. And that's the only line about Shah Rukh Khan in this entire book. But the entire book talks about how India is really missing the point. Today, it's talking about India and the human potential. If we don't see higher participation of women in the workforce, I think we're completely missing out. There have been world economists who have come out here and proved time and again, if you see there was a experiment run where there was a reservation for women in the municipal, divisions, right? And they saw that consistently these reservations and women who were there in these positions, in the beginning, it was just like, they were proxy for their husbands, right? Everybody thought their husbands will do all the work. The women are just, there. But truth is, maybe the first year was like that. And the second year, the third year, they completely changed the whole landscape. Education, healthcare, sanitation, everything saw a 10x improvement, right? And imagine if we had the same reservation across different spheres in the country. So, and imagine if we had higher participation of women in every single. So, we're missing out on this 50% that's who's really important. We keep talking in our country that, we worship goddesses and we have the first woman prime minister. All of this is lip service. End of the day, right? Are we really using our human potential? And that's what I want to leave you guys with. And think about it. We all speak about, even today, for example, I'm raising capital in venture, right? As a woman, I cannot tell you how different it is. The bro, like whole club, it's another level of difference. And I don't go in there with my tag of Swati from Coimbatore, from Ramakrishna Hospital. No, I go there as Swati, who runs like this small, tiny healthcare startup, not in any sexy industry, but in kids' health, right? And you should see the difference. They're like, oh, woman, first question they get asked is, so you're 40 and like, I'm 44, by the way, and I have a 16-year-old. So the first question is, oh, do you think you can spend enough time away from your family to run this, right? I mean, I was like, do you really think I'm not serious about this, right? So here I am today asking you. And the second point I have to make is, I really love the line about three things you said, right? I think culture, learning, and performance. So culture really is the defining factor. We can have tech enabled this, we can have everything change. But if we don't, in our homes, in our businesses, if we don't practice and we don't have uniformity in our thought and what we express and how we work as a unit together, as a family, as a country, and as a culture, I don't think we'll have anything to really talk about when it comes to tech, right? So, and I think that's really what I want to leave you with. One, 50% participation, 50% of the women. So at least help us, help ourselves and make the difference in this country. And second is culture is everything. Think about the culture in your company. Think about the culture in your home and practice what we preach. So thank you so much.
Good evening to everybody present here. This is the first time for me to debate. I'll just jump right into it quickly. Most of us here are industrial owners, right? We run businesses. We have our own businesses. How many of you have migrant workers in your factory? Okay. At what percentage? Okay. What if all of them goes back to their hometown? So that is the case which is happening right now in India. So it is actually at an alarming rate. It might be good, it looks good, it's cheaper for us to have that labor work at a convenient level right now. But the harsh reality is we are talking about next 25 years. This migration is similar to how Indians travel to developed countries. So the states with high GDP are getting these migrants from states with lower GDP. Well, imagine what happens when their GDP improves and they become better, right? So it will become a reversal situation. So that the only solution for us in right now is to go and adopt technology where we can de-risk ourselves from such kind of migration-based risks, and also we can look forward towards the next 25 years or even 100 years. Only automation and robotics, I think, can save us from that kind of risks in the next 25 years. Not now, but after 25 years. So that was my first point. The next one, what I want to talk about is, I think a lot of us would have heard about our Prime Minister talking about our goal of becoming a developed country by 2047. In the 100th year of independence, he has set us an ambitious goal of becoming a developed country. In that, he has talked about 5 pillars which will help us to become a developed country. And in that, the one most important pillar was digitalized India. And right now, I think everybody here would have felt about that our government has been doing Digital India for the past 7 to 8 years. Right from, I would like to cite some examples here. The first point would be Aadhaar. I think our Aadhaar is linked to literally everything today. Right from SIM cards, bank accounts, even to anything, whatever you buy today has our Aadhaar card linked to it. It's actually done for our good. A local farmer who wants to receive a subsidy, previous years, like 10 years back, the subsidy had to go through a lot of people in between. But right now, since his bank account is linked to his Aadhaar, and that person's Aadhaar is a unique identification number, The subsidies go directly to him, and there is no middleman right now. The next point is about UPIs, Unified Payment Interface. Yeah, UPIs have been on existence for the past 3 to 4 years, and during COVID, it became so popular that literally everybody are using UPI right now. I think my generation in next 25 years, I don't think I'll see cash in hand, because now they have limited it to up to 1 lakh rupees, but after 25 years, I don't know, it might be unlimited. Everything might happen through UPI, and it's free of charge. Our government is pushing in such a way that you don't pay any fees to the service provider to pay your money. So that is the level of initiative what our government is taking. The next one, what I want to talk about is healthcare again. So it's about our healthcare system. Right now, government is driving a health insurance policy, which is also based on an internet platform called Ayushman Bharat. So it is completely internet based, and you don't have to go to any government office to get a health insurance from your government. So once you get that, you can claim your health insurance all over India with the support of the government. And the next most important thing, as business owners, the GEM portal. I think everybody here would have heard about GEM portal. So it is a place where small business owners are finding bigger customers like PSUs. It is helping for survival of those business owners. And to conclude, I think I have little time left. So even for our national security, India had to find Tejas fighter jets, LCH helicopters, and INS Vikrant to prove that we are safe and nobody else can touch us right now. So technology is the only thing which even saves us from our enemies rather than human potential. We might have a huge army, but it is the technology that shows that we are safe. And I would like to conclude with that thought. And thank you for the opportunity.
Good evening. So thanks for this platform to sort of engage in this debate. I think it's a very interesting topic. And I think my colleagues here have given me enough to talk about in the next couple of minutes. So I'll start with where Ray started about technology being a tool, science being a means, so on and so forth. I don't disagree with that statement, but just through a couple of examples which will lead into what Naveen said as well. There is a difference between technology and there's a difference between being able to apply technology at scale. We are talking about India. India, if you look at it for the next 25 years, the three major problems that I would think we are facing, we have to improve the per capita income of the majority of India. We have to deliver healthcare for the majority of India. And social harmony and peace is something that we have to take care of within ourselves and with our neighbors as well. So to me, broadly, the next 25 years of India, this is going to be the key areas of focus. And I think Naveen also touched upon this in a certain way. So if you talk about UPI, for example, yes, India, along with a country like China, is probably on the cutting edge of digital payments. But it's not that digital payments didn't exist before. It's not that the technology did not exist before. It took a company, I think the company is JustPay. It took a company to specifically understand the needs of India. It took individuals to truly understand the applicability of this technology in the Indian environment where people don't even have bank accounts to make a scalable and successful business model. And it's a scalable and successful business model built by human potential. It's aided by technology, but it's built by human potential. I'll go to another example. We can talk about Amazon, which is a global behemoth of a technology company. Amazon failed in China. Amazon failed in retail fashion in India. Again, a company like Flipkart or a company like Nykaa has completely cracked a market which a company like Amazon with its billions and billions of dollars and technology power couldn't do. Again, it's to do with understanding human elements. It's understanding the local market. India, 1 billion people, it's a consumption economy. And it has to become more of a consumption economy for us to, over the next 25 years, scale up and become a global world power. If you look at China, the reason for their success is every single product made in China, there's a market of 1 billion people. So India has two roles to play. One is to cater to its own market of 1 billion people, and the other is to cater to the world. So we talk about Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat. One of the key drivers for this is whether we like it or not, we are a cost efficient country. And that's why people look at us as a potential country to export products. So I like the point that Naveen made about reverse migration. It's a great point, but it has two problems. Again, we are going to take money away from people and replace them by robots. And the second problem is that's going to drive your consumption down. So from a macroeconomic standpoint, it's going to affect your own USP as a country. You are a cost efficient country. That's what we are. We have to embrace it. And that's what's got us to where we are today. So we have to embrace that. We have to continue to build around that. Yes, robots and cobots will work alongside our migrant workforce, but we need to think of ways to enable them, to make them consumers, to make them more powerful, because ultimately the consumption economy of India is what will drive growth and drive successful, sustainable growth over the next 25, 40, 50 years. So these are a couple of points that I wanted to make. Coming to healthcare and agri-tech, because we have a couple of people who work with healthcare and farm-to-table kind of technology. Again, technology is there where money is there. Other countries in the world have far greater farm technology than we do. Our agricultural economy, 15% of gross value add, 45% of employment in India today. So there is a potential for a lot of technology penetration, but it requires business models like what Ray has come up with. Yes, cold press technology, high pressure, cold process, cold chain has existed in the world for a very long time. America pioneered this and they have a great cold chain and they have great technology to do this. But to make that work in India, because we're talking about India in 25 years, we need people to understand the human elements and unlock the potential of India as an economy and for India to become a superpower at 100. So with that, I'll take a pause.
Well, thank you. That was very insightful to hear from my team and also the people on the other side. And I think I played nice in my first time. So I realized that I was a little too nice. So I should have probably thrown my punches back then. So now, there are 2 points that I want to just make. So off the bat, so Madam Swati had some very insightful points she made about Saudi Arabia, women participation, etc. Look, women can participate in Saudi Arabia on paper at 30%, but they can't even drive. They just started driving. So how far they have to go in playing a meaningful role in the society. Now, what we are talking about is not mere participation, just doing things which are really not driving creating those economic values and putting their potential to full use. We are talking about our country, regardless of what she has quoted as 18% participation, which I really doubt it is, but I need to check. But in technology, at least, there is over a 40% participation from women workforce. So there we go. So you have that. So technology is a level player. Doesn't matter what gender you are, it is a level player. You can belong to any gender or you don't have to have a gender, but still it is a level player. Now, just in our business, and I know there was some interesting insight about agriculture, etc. Yes, what we do, there are 2 things we do with Newty. We have 85% of our workforce is women. And it is not because we want to somehow play this, made a business sense apart from the fact empowering women, because they were great in many things, and particularly understanding of food. And there are a lot of qualities that they bring in which helped us also and accomplish what we do at Newty. So we have about 85% participation in our workforce from women. But we don't necessarily look at sort of having people there for the sake of employing. So we are bringing in automation into many areas, which has never been done in the food industry. For example, there is a lot of cleaning and cutting where we are extensively automating right now. And the reason we are automating is not because these people will lose the jobs, but we want to move them up in the value chain. So, for example, people who are, they asked us even from one of our very large partners, why do you have to spend money into automation? So I had a simple question. Now, if the guy is going to do the same job of just cleaning or chopping throughout his life, what kind of skills is he acquiring over on a day-to-day basis after 10 years? I mean, he will still be chopping, but I would like them to chop, but I also want them to learn a few other things. So how do you do that? Is by giving them automation tools so they can actually just sort of improve their skills. So now we have a lot of women workforce who previously were just doing mundane work. They are actually now overseeing equipments where they are actually doing a bit of a quality assurance work. So they are doing quality control. So they don't really know what quality control is before, but now with automation they know. So that is powered by technology. So it's the people have always existed. Yes, it is, but the technology is what brings the best out of you, and technology is what is going to is what is even powering mental health. Now, think for a moment. I mean, one of the problems that has been spoken for in the last 2 years is people suffer from mental health, and because of COVID and stress, depression. Yes, there is a part of technology which causes also that, but what technology does is you can actually create solutions and give them at scale to people. Now, how many of you guys? There are many of you, I'm assuming there'll be some of you who actually do yoga here. Now, over the last 2 years during pandemic, the yoga studios closed and people started offering classes online. So 5,000, 2,500, 3,000-year-old yoga is now taught online. Okay, now let it sink for a second. Now, before you say, oh, there'll be more people. Yeah, but what do these people do with their time? How are they putting their time to use? Now, if they're going to do the same thing again and again, they're going to create more conflicts in the society. They're going to create more problems, and they're going to create existence harder. They're going to make it existing harder for everybody. But technology can help you to choose wisely how you want to spend your time, how you want to improve on yourself, and focus on things that are bringing health and harmony to people. So the power of technology is essentially what is going to drive the human development over the next couple of decades. So with that, I'm just going to sort of wrap it up and see what is interesting that they're going to say.
I'm going to take off again, speaking on, they said about the safety of the country, right? We're talking about launching rockets here. When I can't walk in Delhi at 8 p.m., 2 p.m. in the afternoon, I can't walk out there. And tell me if technology has changed that, right? We're a pretty advanced country. We can do UPI payments. If you can't guarantee my safety, why are we even talking about the safety of the country? If you can't guarantee that. And mental health could have made, and I think, thank you for touching on the point on mental health, right? So why do we measure everything and even human potential, right? Today, everything is clouded by how many $1 billion you're worth and valuation. Why is happiness not a measure, right? And how are we using tech to really measure happiness? Does it measure your happiness? It's created a lot of, like today morning when I told my son that I'm going to talk for human potential and not technology, he laughed and he said, oh, in that case, God help you. So he's a 16-year-old. So, and continued to be typing on his cell phone while talking to me. So I said, did you pay attention to me? He was like, So this was the question, right? So technology is great, sure. Tech-enabled life is great, sure. But as I said, if we can't keep it together and, human potential, why are we even talking about that, right? India was a country, like look at our past. We don't have to only learn to move forward from the future, but learn from the past as well, right? We were a really forward-thinking country many, many thousands of years ago, right? We're talking about yoga and meditation. Sure, tech might enable it to take it there, but we were all there once upon a time, right? Without tech too. So it's not like we need technology to really learn yoga. And truth is, it's still evolving, right? We're not saying that this or that, but at the end of the day, all I'm saying is mental health, safety, all of these points. First, let's talk about how we can bring 100% of ourselves to the table, and then everything else sorts itself. Technology, no technology, even if you take out all the tech in the world, I think we'll still be able to exist and live happily. If you take all the humans in the world, what does it matter anyway, right? If we're not there, what's there to measure and what's there to really, talk about technology at all? And if we're dysfunctional humans, what does technology matter tomorrow? That's all I leave you with. Thank you.
Let me just start off with some examples since they mentioned, Aditya mentioned Amazon here. So I'll just start off with some big tech companies. Like we call them big tech now, but they were all started 30 years back in a small garage. They were very small, and they just started with an idea, and that idea became a global one, and they became so powerful just because there was some technology which they were able to touch and integrate with, and that was internet. To be frank, it was internet, and that made them so big today that they are even valued more than our country's economy right now. Some companies are valued so much. So that is one of the point how technology has transformed a company in a garage to becoming a highly valued company today in the world. The next point about safety, they spoke about safety of women right now. Changing a human is very difficult. A character of human to be changed for so many years who's been there, it is highly difficult. I think everybody would agree on that. So, in order to make women safe, even our own very government, especially Tamil Nadu, I think like we have, they have created only applications which can help women in times of danger. So that immediately when they use those apps, at least you get an SOS, and that's the only weapon they have right now for safety. Other than that, I think they have pepper spray, right? So, yeah, true. I agree with that. But the second option, the second option which you have is the app which the government gives you, right? Or your mobile phone. You call the police or you call someone immediately without the phone. Just imagine how would you feel at that kind of situation. So it is the mobile phone which is saving you at that point of time, right? So these are some of the points which I want to counter. Lastly, I just want to talk about an interesting fact. See, technology is very, very important for a country's development. And I think nobody can deny that fact. Human potential is there, but only when it is integrated with the current technology, whether it can be internet or it can be communication. We are talking about 5G right now. Why do we need 5G? We can go with 4G, right? Why is our government upgrading to 5G? Why do we need faster internet speeds? Because we need information faster. We need to be faster than our competitive countries. So, without these technologies, we can't survive. We have to live with the latest trend. And only with the latest technology, we can survive and move on. And as I already mentioned, if India wants to be a superpower and become a developed and a safe nation, it is only with a very highly developed and sophisticated technology that we can achieve this. Humans have been there, as Ray mentioned, we have been there for millions of years now. So, changing our perspective, technology was the first thing to change our perspective in seeing things. So, only with technology, I think we can achieve that greater feat. Thank you.
Okay. Once again, so thank you to my colleagues for making the points that they did. I think they raised interesting points. I don't think anybody today is going to say that, let's go back to the Stone Age and let's live in caves, and fend for ourselves in forests. I don't think that's the extent. It's not all or nothing. But the point that I would like to make quite emphatically is ultimately technology is a set of mathematical equations. These are mathematical equations that regress over themselves over multiple learnings. So that's why we have machine learning. But whatever mathematical equation is built by somebody, by somebody with a brain, um, that is limited to the experience that that person has faced. And of course, machines learn from themselves, and there is machine learning and artificial intelligence. But if you think about something like COVID, 100 years ago, yes, we had the Spanish flu, but no regression model of the world ever predicted COVID. And several regression models predicted, artificial intelligence, machine learning models predicted that in September 2021, COVID will be over. Nobody spoke about Omicron. So technology is limited to a certain extent by the past that has been there before it. Because ultimately it boils down to mathematical equations. There is dependent variable, there are independent variables. This is how technology is built. And all of this comes from human experience. It comes from data sets that humans have processed over years and years and years. And now, of course, we use technology to speed it up. We use technology to remove mundane tasks from our mind so that we can make breakthrough changes. I'll talk about an example for that. If you think about, everybody here probably has a smartphone. Everybody on the street has a smartphone which harnesses your 5G technology and whatnot. How did the smartphone become mainstream? There's a company called Apple. Everybody knows this company. Steve Jobs took about 12 people, put them in a separate building, separate from everybody else. He had his coders who were doing the regular Macs and your regular, software for the Macs, whether it's a Safari browser or whatever. He had people doing that, the mundane tasks, if you will. The team that created the breakthrough technology that every one of us carries in our pocket today, they were put in a separate room. They were treated separately. They had a separate color code. They were given special treatment because it was their human potential that unlocked what became, in your palm and my palm, the world today. Somebody built the internet. It didn't build itself. There were a set of mathematicians who came together, put the internet together, and made it what it is over a period of time today. It took somebody like Jack Ma to build an Alibaba. Alibaba, many people confuse Alibaba and Amazon. It's not the same. Alibaba was a B2B platform well before Amazon started any B2B activity. It took a person, he was an English teacher. He was an English teacher and a translator in China. Okay, today he may or may not, we don't know too much about him, and that's a different topic. But an English teacher transformed the internet in China, transformed digital payments, transformed the way we do business. And then the rest of the world, of course, called him a copycat, but learned from it. And today our UPI and digital payments, all of that, Alipay was there 15 years ago. So it takes humans, it takes human knowledge, it takes processing of data and seeing it from a human perspective to build the technology that you and I use today. I mean, even if you talk about the safety and the app, I know there's a Kavalan SOS app, etc. When you put a SOS in that app, it's ultimately a police officer or a female police officer that's going to come to the rescue of you or me. It's not going to be a robot. I don't see it yet. And even if we have to see a robot that does that, it will require human intelligence to program that robot to see what is safe and what is unsafe. The reason why we don't have cars that drive themselves today is because humans have not been able to imagine cars that drive themselves yet successfully, scalably. If machines could do that themselves, why would you and I drive? The enjoyment of driving, going back to Swati's point, the human experience itself, why are we here? Ultimately, we are born and, 70, 80, 90 years later, we leave this earth. All for what? We leave something for the next generation. We leave a legacy. We leave an experience. We leave a world. And technology, yes, aids this world and it may help us get from point A to point B faster. But it's all built by humans. It's built by the brains of humans because ultimately they're all mathematical equations. And these mathematical equations are based on data sets that you and I have seen before. Without that, there is no technology. Thank you.
I don't know what wrong I did for Mr. Venkatesh, and he has given us such a tricky topic. It's like Kohli mudala mutta mudala. I think it is. What is important, I think, technology, power, or human potential. So India at 100. It's a very tricky question, and I really appreciate both the teams. They have done a fabulous job. A lot of learnings. technology power and human potential are like two eyes, right? So at India at 100, which is going to be more impactful is the question. If you see the evidences of Japan, Germany, Israel, small countries made a bigger impact, right? They had a probably the population wise they were not so big population, but they made a really big impact. And with the technology, like even if Bruce Lee is in front of Aditya, if Aditya has an AK-47, so Bruce Lee can be defeated, right? So how much ever talent that person, human potential has, but at the same time, what they also said, somebody has to innovate the AK-47. So that needs the human potential. So it is definitely a chicken or egg situation. I will take you, since the Apple was taken as an example. If you listen to Steve Jobs, and today we are all impacted by him. The whole world is impacted. So what impacted him when he was a young boy? He actually he was reading in the library, and he was reading a Scientific American. In the Scientific American, they conducted a study. The input energy versus mobility. They were comparing all creatures, all animals in the world. Which one is more efficient in the world? All the creatures, how much of energy intake it took to, it's a mobility challenge. So they were calculating how many calories this creature, this animal has taken, and how far it went. And human was also included in that. And when they were seeing, they actually took 50 animals, 50 creatures, including birds, fish, and all that. And they found that human efficiency in terms of mobility, how much energy we take to reach that mile, we were somewhere far below in 40th or 42nd kind of a thing. So we were not very efficient in terms of energy consumption versus mobility. But the same scientists thought of giving a bicycle, and then they saw. Earlier, the first one was a condor, which was beating every other animal, every other creature in the world. But the time they gave cycle to a human being, suddenly we were number one. So the human potential got unleashed through the technology. So it made all the difference, and it impacted him. What he did from that day onwards, he was looking for the technology tools. And then he realized, when he stumbled upon the computer, he realized that the computer is a bicycle to the mind, right? And there he changed the world, right? So the technology really helped. But without Steve Jobs, he himself is a human, his thinking made the difference. Normally, I communicate to my team also. Like, one might have studied big volumes of book on how to ride a bicycle, right? He might have got a doctorate also. But unless he rides the bicycle, he can't ride. So it is completely human potential, and the technology is completely weaved together. And it was very well, like all the Ray has put it, more people, more problems. No doubt. When two people are interacting, it's a two-way communication. Four people are communicating, it's 16 ways the communication can go wrong. So very well put by them. And technology will bring best out of you. Yes, I think I agree with him 100%. Swati made a fantastic point, the importance of engaging women power. I went to China for the past 2 decades. And I realized their ability to leverage the woman power, amazing, amazing. That is the reason they are there, no doubt. So Naveen made a point. If migrant worker goes back, what can we do? I was thinking, oh, I was really concerned. Thank you for triggering the thought. Aditya made an excellent point. Like individual that aided by tech, bull by the human potential. Market of billion people. We are a most cost efficient country. I think to make it work, we need to unlock the potential, right, through technology. I think both are interviewed, and like SOS app can be there, but some policeman has to come there. So both are required. That doesn't mean that SOS is the technology is not required. Then only it enables the human to be a better thing. So I would say like both are equally important. I will read first the heading, the technology power versus human potential. I would say the technology power with potential humans. So that makes the difference. Because we were all along, we were almost a billion people, but our per capita income was so very low. Like now, the Singapore being such a small country, their per capita income is so big. And if you see Germany, the amount of you can say the Porsches and all these cars they're able to afford is only because of the potentiality what the individuals had. Just having so many human beings is not going to help. It's like why Bihar people are here, Orissa people are here, because they have the human potential, but the opportunities in Coimbatore or in Tamil Nadu. So I feel both complement, and it is my verdict is that the technology power is important with potential humans. Thank you very much. Thank you.